Okay, everything is set up. I believe we can start. Evening, everyone. Thank you for showing up to tonight's community session. It's on overcoming imposter syndrome in cybersecurity. And we're having Evelyn Wangui as our guest. Can you please introduce yourself and then we can begin?
So, hi Maria, hi everyone. Welcome to today's session. My name is Evelyn Wangui, a cybersecurity analyst. So today I'll be taking you through how to overcome imposter syndrome in cybersecurity. This topic is so close to my heart because it's something that I've experienced, especially in my cybersecurity career. And so I'm planning to create an awareness of how professionals can overcome imposter syndrome and be confident in their careers. So without further ado, we'll just jump into the topic. So what is the first thing is, so without further ado, we shall dive into the agenda of today's session, which is understanding what imposter syndrome is, how does it look like, and what we can do about it. How also take you through the different strategies that you can undertake to overcome the syndrome. So, what is imposter syndrome? First and foremost, imposter syndrome is also known as imposter experience or the fraud syndrome. So it's a feeling of self-doubt, personal incompetence, and constant doubting your education, your experience, your accomplishments. I'm sure even most of you have had it or have experienced it during their career, or even when you're applying cybersecurity jobs, when you're starting a new job, or when you're planning to maybe take up a senior role within the field. So you constantly doubt your skills, you doubt your accomplishments, or you even fear or have challenges in expressing your ideas within the field or among your fellow peers or professionals. So this imposter syndrome doesn't have any cure. You just have to put a little effort so that you can be able to overcome it. So how does it feel to have imposter syndrome? So you start having questions in your head. Am I really an expert, or am I really enough? Can I really be termed as a cybersecurity expert or an IT expert? You start doubting whether you can be responsible to do big things such as securing an entire organization, being doubtful of whether you can be able to secure an entire IT infrastructure or system, or to be responsible for an IT infrastructure of a small, whether it's small organization or a big organization. Also, you start wondering, how do other people within the field, or how do my colleagues or how do my peers see me as an expert? Do they see me as an expert, or do they take me as a fraud? You start also even questioning your other personal related things, like your basic things like hairstyle, like outfits. You start questioning yourself in all angles. So to be able to identify whether you have imposter syndrome, there are some symptoms that you experience, or some feelings that you experience, such as you are unable to think or to speak when being challenged, maybe when you are with your peers, you have challenges in expressing your opinions, your thoughts, your ideas. You're also afraid to share your thoughts. Sometimes you downplay your knowledge, your skills and abilities. You start questioning whether you're really enough, or are you performing a task, or are you doing a project as it is supposed to be done. You start really questioning all aspects of a task that you've been given, or you have taken up. You also become afraid of stepping into leadership position and taking responsibilities. Maybe you start fearing to climb up the ladder or to take up higher roles, higher tasks. You feel that those are not your tasks. You feel like those tasks are for someone else apart from you. You're also afraid of failures. Failing is normal within the field or within any aspect of life, but in most cases, when you have imposter syndrome, you fear to fail. You just want to be perfect. You tend to be a perfectionist. And if things don't go your way, you feel frustrated or something. Something else is that you are afraid of being judged and rejected by your peers or your colleagues. You fear them having opinions in their heads about you or about your qualifications. So when you have imposter syndrome, maybe at your workplace or maybe in school, in case you're taking up this course for cybersecurity, or when maybe you're doing job hunting, you feel that the imposter syndrome feelings makes you think that you know less than what other people know. You feel like other people know much more than what you really know, of which it is a false narrative of which it is a false narrative. Since people in the field is quite diverse, and everyone, whether you're senior, you're junior, or you're an entry-level person, everyone it's a learning curve for everyone. So no one knows everything, and no one knows all things about cybersecurity. It's a constant learning process. So in reality, you find that what you know and what others know, they correlate. And each one in this cybersecurity journey is learning, and everyone is on a learning curve. So is imposter syndrome really a bad thing? So imposter syndrome, it's not really a bad thing, because you can use it as fuel or as an asset to succeed in your profession. So as a professional in cybersecurity, or someone who wants to join the field, you need to understand or to know that this field requires really much confidence. It requires persistence, it requires passion, and it requires faith. So you also need to understand that no one is ever going to know everything, no matter how hard they try. You constantly need to keep yourself updated. You constantly need to learn. And apart from the technical skills that the field requires the professional to have, it also requires you to build on your soft skills. You need to know how businesses run. You need to know the latest trends, the technologies, the programming languages, and the different frameworks that are used, as well as acquire different soft skills that will help you build up on your technical skills. So imposter syndrome basically isn't a bad thing, but you can use it to fuel your profession success. So why does it matter? You find that when you have imposter syndrome, you suffer from stress. You are always stressed about what other people think, or will I be good enough? Will I ever reach where the rest are? Will I be worth? You start questioning your worthiness in the field. You suffer physical and emotional effects. You constantly have anxieties. You constantly have fears. You constantly have a lot of physical, emotional, psychological problems. Also, you get to have relationship issues. You find that you're not being able to collaborate with your peers. Maybe if you are in a workplace setup, you have challenges with interacting with your peers, with expressing your opinions or expressing your ideas. So the syndrome also makes you lack personal and professional fulfillment. You feel deficient. You feel you're not fulfilled. You feel you're not reaching your potential. You feel you're not reaching your full capacity as a professional or as a student. So how do you embrace it? As we've said before, having imposter syndrome is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, and you can use it to fuel your professional success. So how do you embrace it? First, be okay with saying that you don't know. In case you don't know a concept, in case you don't know a technology, in case you don't know how in case you don't know something, you need to be able to say that you don't know it so that you can engage more with your peers. Be open to learning together with your peers, the ones who are senior or the ones who are junior. Also, be open to research. Be open to just interacting and being okay with saying that you need help. Also, the second item is you need to know your worth, and that in cybersecurity or in this tech field, your worth is not measured with what you know, like the knowledge you know. You need to learn how to adapt and respond to changing you need to adapt and respond to the changing cybersecurity landscape, because cybersecurity is constantly changing. There are new threats coming up every time. There are new vulnerabilities coming up every time. So your ability to provide solutions to those problems, to the cybersecurity problems, is what determines your worth in the field, as opposed to the knowledge that you know. The other item is do not doubt yourself, challenge yourself, take up new courses, the short courses that are available online, take up new CTFs and any other available resources online. So I'll provide tips to cope with imposter syndrome. First and foremost is to qualify yourself. So at this point, you need to be your number one cheerleader. Maybe when you're applying for a job, you feel like you're not enough, or maybe when you look at the job descriptions, the qualifications that they're asking for, maybe you're only qualified for like 70% and you don't have the other 30%. So I'll challenge you that be the first person to qualify yourself. Don't self-sabotage yourself. Don't say that you're not enough. Just apply for that job. If it's a job that you're applying for, if it's a senior role that you're applying for, or any other role that you want to take up, don't be the first person to self-sabotage yourself. The second item is fill up your toolbox. So when I mean toolbox, I mean tools that incorporate into your day-to-day life that will help you reaffirm your worth. For instance, you can try to meditate. You ask yourself, like, what am I trying to achieve? Where do I want to see myself in the next 5 years? How do I envision my career to be like? So do that retrospection, take self-assessment to better understand your personality, to understand your strengths, to understand your weaknesses and align them with your career goals. The other thing is to set and track achievable goals. So at this point, for you to be able to overcome the imposter syndrome, you need to work on dividing, or rather narrowing your goals. In case you have one big goal, set small achievable ones, set small realistic ones that will help you measure your accomplishments. This will help you develop your self-esteem and also develop your self-confidence when it comes to doing tasks or achieving goals in cybersecurity. After achieving your goals, please celebrate yourself. As I've told you, be your champion, number one cheerleader. So when you achieve any goals, whether they are big or small, celebrate them. The other tips on how to overcome imposter syndrome: understand your technical strengths and weaknesses, and channel your energy to improve on areas that align with your career goals. So at this point, when you identify your strengths, let your strengths shine. Capitalize on your strengths and repeat that each and every time. For your weaknesses, don't let your weaknesses bring you down, or don't let your weaknesses sabotage your strengths. So work hard, improve on your weaknesses, do what you're supposed to do. If it's like enrolling for a course or looking for free online materials to improve on your weaknesses, work hard and improve on that. Also, develop continuous and focused learning programs. So in cybersecurity or in any other tech career, there are so many online free sources that are available that you can improve, that can help you improve on your skills and improve on your knowledge, as well as the technical bit. So enroll in those programs such as Hack the Box, Try Hack Me, and also CTFs. When you have more knowledge and more practice and do more practice, you'll find that you'll be gaining more self-confidence and more and eliminate the self-doubt you had maybe in performing a task or carrying out a project. Get out of your comfort zone, participate in mentorship programs, and also network with your peers. It could be on LinkedIn, it could be attending conferences and events physically, or it could be also joining those groups such as Sharks or other groups that are available online, maybe on Twitter. Join those WhatsApp groups that are, just join a community of the area that you're trying to improve on. The other items or other ways of overcoming imposter syndrome is getting a mentor or a role model. So a mentor can be can be someone who is higher than you, maybe in the career ladder, or just a friend or a colleague who you will take as an accountability partner, someone whom you can trust to give you positive feedback as well as criticize you so that you can be better, so that you can get out of your comfort zone, so that you can be able to go beyond your self-doubt. The other item is listen. You need to listen to your colleagues, you need to listen to your peers, you need to listen to, if you are in a workplace setup, you need to listen to your supervisors and also your managers. At times they will criticize you, at times they will pat your back, but even though they criticize you, just take the criticism positively and get as much nourishment from that as possible. So once they give you feedback, for instance, maybe with your managers or your mentors or your colleagues or your peers, use this information to improve yourself. Use this information to act as a performance review for yourself, or a way of assessing yourself and bettering yourself. Don't take criticism as a way to bring you down. The other item is to celebrate, as I told you. Once you set your small realistic goals, don't forget to celebrate yourself. Celebrate yourself even for the small things, like when you've been able to fix a bug, when you've been able to deliver a project, or even when you've been able to carry out such a presentation. Maybe even when you try to write a script, maybe on Kali Linux, just celebrate yourself. That will boost your self-confidence, and also it will psych you up to take up roles and to finish other tasks and achieve other goals. Join a support system. It could be a community or attending events. They could be physical events or virtual events like the one we're having right now. The purpose of joining a community is not to compare yourself with the peers that are already in the industry, but rather it's to get perspective from other professionals, and also to get to interact and also network with other professionals. So that is what I had for today. Those are some of the ways that you can overcome imposter syndrome in cybersecurity, or even in any other area in the tech field, or even as in other aspects of your life. So I'd urge you to make don't self-sabotage yourself, but always work on improving yourself, and work on and knowing that you're not alone in this journey. We are so many who suffer from imposter syndrome, but it is possible with grace and a little bit being patient with yourself. So that's what I had for today. Yeah, back to you, Maria.
Hi. Thank you so much for those points you made. I think that it was brief, but very it was concise and also eloquent. I like the points you made in terms of being your own cheerleader and basically patting yourself on the back every time like you achieve something. I wanted to ask the community if they have any questions or comments. Let me make it so you can unmute yourself. Yeah, you can unmute yourself now if anyone would like to make any comments or have any questions for Evelyn. Anything? I don't believe there are any comments as of yet or any questions. Okay, Kevin.
Hello.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. Thanks so much for the presentation, Evelyn. I had a question. There's usually this thing about, okay, personally, I'm a male ally, and usually find it, I usually find, for example, imposter syndrome is it hits harder on ladies more than the gents, especially because sometimes, like the way ladies are, they usually lean on each other. And sometimes you find maybe I've heard of even places where maybe you're the only lady in the room, and it's usually quite hard to get that psychosocial support when dealing with imposter syndrome. So maybe according to your own perspective, how does a lady deal with this, and even how does somebody who is like a male ally who can help? How can such a person like me help in that case? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kevin, for that question. Yes, true. It's normally alluded that it's a female problem, but that's not the case. You find that even guys have imposter syndrome, especially in tech, the developers, the cybersecurity professionals. They also even guys have imposter syndrome. So yeah, as a lady, what I've done individually is like constant request, getting constant feedback from my managers or my direct supervisors or even my friends, like asking them where am I going wrong or what can I do to do better, not feeling bad when I'm criticized. Also taking up professional courses, even though not the certifications, but even the short courses that will help you build onto your knowledge, the knowledge that you have, and also do more practice, and also joining communities like She Hacks and other forums on Twitter, on LinkedIn. So that's what me personally I've been doing. How you can help a lady colleague or a lady or a friend is to give them positive feedback, positive criticism, let them know what they're doing right. In case they are doing wrong, let them know that being wrong, it's okay. Making mistakes, it's okay. But repeating mistakes is where the problem is. So let them know when they make mistake, it's fine, but they can always improve on that.
Thank you.
Hope I've answered the question.
Yes, perfectly. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin, for that question. There are some comments and questions in the chat. Miss Nelly said, great session. Does overselling myself on my CV result in imposter syndrome?
Okay, imposter syndrome, many times it shows up like doubting yourself, like when you are applying for a job, you feel like you're not even qualified or you're not enough to get that job. And in most cases, you even end up not applying for that job because you feel you haven't met the minimum requirements to that job. So for me, I would feel like overselling yourself on CV, I would feel like it's being like overconfident on yourself, like you're really confident about yourself and what you're offering. But I stand to be corrected by people who are already more experienced in this area. But for me, I would feel when you over include or oversell yourself on CV, I would see that as being overconfidence.
Thank you for that. The next comment is, well, I think it's a comment and a question. It says, great presentation. How has imposter syndrome personally affected your career? Looking back, are there things you might have said or done differently had you not felt this way?
So yeah, especially when I was starting my cybersecurity career, because I transitioned from a different career previously. Then when I joined cybersecurity, it was a new thing for me, and I would feel like I'm not enough. I used to feel like I'm not the person who put myself in that spot yet. I'm the one who applied for that job. So within the career, I've missed out on opportunities because I've been feeling like I'm not worth it or I'm not up to task. So those are some of the things that I feel I could have done differently, because I would apply for jobs, get the job, not get the job, but get to the interview level. But on that day for the interview or when the interview nears, I feel like I'm not supposed to. I just feel I'm not enough and fail to attend the interview. And you see, you constantly have that feeling of inadequacy, like I'm not enough. I don't have the right capacity despite having the qualifications, the experience, and the skills. So that's something that personally I'm still working on, and just knowing that I'm worthy of any opportunity that I come across. Yeah.
Thanks for that. A comment from Eve says, I like the feedback part. It helps a lot, and many reads that can guide you. Basically, I think it's a comment on when you spoke about like the people who are mentoring you or above you, like giving you constructive criticism or like feedback and guidance. Adam said, great presentation, Evelyn. And Laura asked, how do you deal with a sudden onset of anxiety triggered by imposter syndrome?
Okay, believe it or not, I used to. Can you hear me, Maria?
Yes, clearly we can hear you.
Yeah. So for the anxiety part, I used to like journal. I used to journal, write my thoughts, my self-doubt thoughts, my self-sabotage. Why am I self-sabotaging myself? So I used to journal, and also I used to journal and to let go the negative thoughts and feelings. I also made sure that I made a habit to listen to podcast or even though it's like a short course or a podcast related to cybersecurity each and every day. So I also used to look up onto some other females who have already done it in the field, maybe on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram, and see if others are doing it, why not me? So, and also as I mentioned, constant feedback from my supervisors, my managers, my friends, that really helped me to do away with the anxiety bit, because you find that when you have anxiety, it really eats you up and even ends up showing in your communication skills, in your body language. So it ends it ends up affecting so many areas of your life, not only even at work, even other platonic relationships, family relationships. So you find that you find that you really have, like, you don't have another option, just to work on it and work on yourself. Yeah, so that's what I did personally.
Okay, that was a good answer. And the last question is, how does someone handle faking it till you make it, as sometimes it helps winging it?
Yeah, so when you identify your strengths and weaknesses, then you let your strengths shine. Then for the weaknesses, I wouldn't encourage someone to fake it till they make it, because once you fake it till you make it, once you get onto the job, you'll find that will catch up with you. You'll find that you'll not be able to do the job as expected, or to understand even, you won't be able even to understand what you're doing or what you're working on, or the product that you're dealing with. So when you fake it till you make it, at the end of the day, that will catch up with you. And now that's when even the imposter syndrome will show up even more. So I would just encourage someone to work hard or improve yourself, work on improving your weaknesses, work on capitalizing your strengths. Yeah, that's what I would advise someone. Maria.
Thank you so much for that response. The last comment is, thank you so much for the session, Evelyn. Someone is also thanking you for the session. So I believe that we have come to the end. I'd also like to thank you. Thank you so much for being open to answering these questions. And before we started the session, you mentioned that this was important to you and you really wanted to give this presentation because you felt this way. So I thank you for being vulnerable to us and the community. And I really enjoyed the session again. Thank you so much. And Lillian also has a comment. She said, that was a great presentation. I needed it since I'm just starting. There's really a lot to learn.
Yeah, actually, can I cut you short, Maria? Actually, imposter syndrome is about being vulnerable, being vulnerable, being able to say you don't know, being okay with saying you need help, being okay to say, I'll start from this point and I'm willing to build on what I know and to learn, just basically being able to accept help, to be vulnerable to your mentors, to your colleagues, to your supervisors. Yeah, that is what will help, instead of just sitting back and just being okay with it. So I'd encourage people to just work on themselves. Don't self-sabotage yourself, by the way. Don't feel like you're not worth it. Don't feel like others know and you don't know. Yeah.
Thank you. I can start reading Lillian's comment again, and then we can close off if you're ready. So she said, that was a great presentation. I needed it since I'm just starting. There's really a lot to learn. Resources are so many. Makes me think sometimes that I should only apply for a job when I'm ready. And Kevin said, thank you so much, Evelyn. And she hacks, it was a great session. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. Oh, Laura. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Laura, please speak.
Sorry, I had the silence. So I just wanted to say thank you, Evelyn, and yeah, thank you to the entire She Hacks team and everybody who's joined the call today, and for Maria for leading the session. Asanteni sana, and we'll see you next week. Maria, unless there's anything else you wanted to add?
No, there's nothing else I wanted to add. I just wanted to thank everyone for coming and giving away like an hour of their Thursday, and hope to see you next week for the remaining sessions. Good
Bye,
night.
everyone.
Good night.
Thank you. Bye.